එදිනෙදා ඔබේ මුළු සිරුරටම රැකවරණයක්. සුදේශී කොඹ සබන්.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50 අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Tonight, one more. Another patient with prior health issues perish, marking Sri Lanka's 8th COVID-19 death. Only from the 11th. President's Media Division clarifies NIC number method for venturing out. Laying down the law, the Attorney General tells the Election Commission follow the law and nothing else on parliamentary elections. Bringing them home. The first of 3 repatriation flights lands carrying Sri Lankan students from the United Kingdom. All that and much more coming up on First at 9. This Monday, the 4th of May, 2020.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
හැටනමයි අනුහතට SMS කර රුපියල් මිලියන 3ක මුල්තැන්ගේ උපකරණ දිනාගෙන අවුරුද්දෙම කුස්සිය ටයිම් සේව් කරගන්න.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammik Ekanaik. Now, a 72-year-old woman died of COVID-19 related complications today, marking her the 8th patient to succumb to the virus in the country. Health authorities confirmed that the deceased who received treatment at the Homagama Hospital had suffered from underlying health conditions. Her latest or last rites were performed in accordance with international quarantine regulations at the Kotikawata Cemetery. On an optimistic note, Minister of Health Pavitra Vanniyarachchi said today that the number of infected cases detected in Sri Lanka is on the decline. Meanwhile, the first sailor to have contracted COVID-19 returned home after a full recovery.
A 72-year-old resident of Polpitigama in Kurunagala today fell victim to the coronavirus COVID-19 while receiving treatment at Homagama Hospital. According to health authorities, she suffered from a kidney disease which worsened her health condition. Her final rites were conducted at the Kotikawata Cemetery in accordance with international quarantine regulations. Meanwhile, out of the COVID-19 patients detected in the country yesterday were 11 naval personnel. With the detection of these fresh cases, the total number of infections stand at 721, out of which 523 patients remain active cases. With 10 more patients having headed home after full recoveries today, the total number of recoveries now stands at 194. 137 people currently remain under medical observation.
මෙවැනිට ශ්‍රී ලංකා නාවික හමුදාවේ වෛරසය ආසාදිත වූ විරෝධා රණවිරුවන්ගේ පවුල්වල සමාජිකයන් 1031 දෙනෙකු ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදාව විසින් පවත්වාගෙන යනු ලබන නිරෝධායන මධ්‍යස්ථානවල නිරෝධායන වෙමින් පවතිනවා. ඒත් එක්කම ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදාව විසින් අද දින වෙන විට නිරෝධායන මධ්‍යස්ථාන 35ක් පවත්වාගෙන යනු ලබන අතර එහි 4522 දෙනෙකු තව දුරටත් නිරෝධායන වෙමින් පවතිනවා. ශ්‍රී ලංකා නාවික හමුදාවේ අපගේ වීරෝදාර රණවිරුවන් කොවිඩ් ආසාදනයෙන් ලක් වුණා. ඒ ආසාදන වූ සංඛ්‍යාව අද වෙනවිට සම්පූර්ණ සංඛ්‍යාව 296ක් හැටියටයි සලකන්නේ.
මේ නාවික බටයින් ගත්තහම ඔවුන්ගෙන් වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් ආසාදිතයන් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ එම කඳවුර තුලමයි. ඒ නිසා ඔවුන්ගෙන් වෙනත් අයට සම්ප්‍රේෂණය වීමේ හැකියාව ඉතාම අවමයි.
පසුගිය දින කීපය තුල යම්කිසි රෝගීන්ගේ වැඩිවීමක් සිද්ධ වුණා. අද දවස් වෙනකොට මේ දින වකවානුව වෙන විට රෝගීන්ගේ වාර්තා වීමේ අඩුවක් පවතින. ඒ වගේම විශේෂයෙන්ම නාවික හමුදාවේ සේවය කරන ඒ ගෞරවනීය සහෝදරයන් ඇරෙනකොට වෙනත් විදිහකට සමාජය තුලින් වාර්තා වෙච්ච රෝගීන් අපට මේ දිනවල දකින්නට ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Meanwhile, it has been revealed that the COVID-19 infected person identified in Keravalapitia yesterday is an employee of a company involved in the disposal of clinical waste from government-run hospitals in the area. According to the Administrative Public Health Inspector of Vattala, the infected individual had been in close contact with 4 Navy personnel at the Valisara Navy base who had contracted the virus. Upon developing suspected COVID-19 symptoms, the patient was admitted to the Colombo North Teaching Hospital, where he subsequently tested positive. These naval personnel were attached to the Keravalapitia clinical waste disposal site. As a result, PCR tests on all employees of the relevant institute were carried out on the 28th of last month, but no employee tested positive. The Vattala Administrative Public Health Inspector said that the group was quarantined at the same facility. Meanwhile, the first naval officer to contract COVID-19 was discharged from the National Institute of Infectious Diseases yesterday after a full recovery. The sailor, however, has been subjected to quarantine for another 14 days, while his family members remain in quarantine at the Busa Centre.
කොරෝනා වෛරසය පැතිරීම වළක්වන්න සබන් යොදා දෑත් සෝදන්න.
Now, the use of the system where people will be allowed to leave home depending on the last digit of their national identity card will only come into effect from Monday, the 11th of May. The President's Media Division today moved to give further clarification over the government's attempt to return the civilian life to normalcy in the 4 COVID-19 high-risk districts. It also stressed that both private and state sector institutions should recommence their operations in the 4 districts despite the curfew continuing to be in place. The President's Media Division today gave further clarifications on the government's move to bring the daily lives of people back to normalcy whilst the curfew continues to be in effect. It said that the curfew in the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Puttalam will continue until further notice. As for the rest of the districts, from today, the curfew will be imposed from 8 p.m. until 5 a.m. the next day on a daily basis until Wednesday the 6th. Once the curfew becomes effective at 8 p.m. on the 6th, it will continue to be in place until 5 a.m. on Monday the 11th. Meanwhile, from the 11th onwards, daily life in the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Puttalam will be returned to normal despite the curfew being in place. The PMD says that although the move was set to be made from today, May 11th was chosen owing to 4 holidays falling within this week. What's more, both private and state institutions must resume operations in the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Puttalam from the 11th. Institutional heads are informed to make necessary plans towards such, and they must ensure that all health protocols designed to prevent the COVID-19 spread are adhered to. Private sector institutions, meanwhile, must open for business at 10 a.m, while it is the prerogative of institutional heads of both private and state sector to decide on their work cadre. Furthermore, SLTB and railway services will be limited to people travelling for employment. The PMD meanwhile added that during curfew, only those who must report to work can leave home and that the only instance others can do so is to purchase essential goods such as food and medicine. Giving clarification on the use of national identity card numbers to leave home, the President's Media Division says that the system will only come into effect in areas under curfew from the 11th of May. It stressed that the system is not applicable when the curfew is relaxed. Now, the curfew, which was in effect island-wide, was lifted temporarily this morning, albeit for 21 districts. Although curfew regulations were relaxed, shops remained closed in some districts, with most people also choosing to stay at home. To large parts, the behaviour of the people were commendable.
The island-wide lockdown was lifted at 5 a.m. in 21 districts except Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Puttalam today. Even with smaller queues witnessed, our correspondents reported a marked reduction in the number of people frequenting townships around the country. Furthermore, shops in most districts were seen choosing to remain closed during the day. However, large queues were witnessed at few stations around the country. It was observed that even among these reduced numbers, some chose to follow health and safety precautions, while others chose to ignore the dangers. Such was the case at the Tangol Fisheries Harbour too, with a large number of fish traders content to flout regulations and ignore social distancing rules. In the meantime, with the resumption of bus and train services, a major drop in public transport passengers was also witnessed. The same lack of people was witnessed in the Yakurana town, which reopened today after 34 days of total isolation. With the curfew remaining in effect in Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Puttalam, the police as usual conducted operations to nab curfew violators and those ignoring safety protocols. So far during the 46 days of curfew, 46,397 people have been arrested and 12,049 vehicles seized. The curfew relaxed in 21 districts today was reimposed at 8 p.m. and will be lifted again at 5 a.m. tomorrow. This schedule will continue on a daily basis until Wednesday the 6th of May. Following this, once the curfew is reimposed once more at 8 p.m. on the 6th, an island-wide curfew will prevail until 5 a.m. on Monday the 11th of May. On the 11th, curfew regulations are set to be relaxed, especially in the 4 high-risk districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kaluthara and Puttalam, to facilitate state and private sector operations as well as regular civilian life to a larger extent. In the meantime, the Valana Anti-Corruption Unit arrested a suspect for treasure hunting in the Wakoya, located near the Kalatuwava Reservoir. However, 5 other suspects had managed to flee the scene. Meanwhile, a hospital employee and his sibling have been arrested in the Waulagala area in Payagala for selling narcotic pills using the work permit issued to employees of the Kaluthara District General Hospital. The Kaluthara District Anti-Vice Squad was able to recover 30 12-bore shotgun cartridges found in their possession.
නිෂ්පාදිත දිනය කවදත් අලුත් වටවලතේ අරගන්න.
වටවලතේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ තේ එක.
Now, as Sri Lanka moves past its 7th week under curfew, signs are showing of a gradual resumption of public services, with postal services commencing regular operations in several districts, including Colombo. However, with the government's program to provide a 5,000 rupee relief allowances to low-income groups in full swing, trade unions representing Gramanilladari's economic development officers and agricultural officers have announced they're pulling out of the program until better protection can be provided to them. They not only call to be shielded from the virus, but from threats and intimidation faced by their members when carrying out their duties.
The payment of pensions for the month of May and the provision of the 5,000 rupee relief allowance to those financially affected by the COVID-19 pandemic was carried out today. The payment of the relief allowance on the instructions of the President are set to be completed before the Vesak Poi holiday that falls this Thursday. Meanwhile, a tense situation was reported in Dikkala, Panudura due to the non-payment of allowances to residents of the area. Panudura North police officers had to be called in to defuse the situation. Our correspondent stated that the Grama Seva officers and cooperative officer were escorted to the Panudura North police station, where the relief funds were then distributed to the recipients at the police station premises. Meanwhile, all Gramanilladari associations, Economic Development Officers Associations and Agricultural Research and Production Assistance Associations affiliated to the Sri Lanka Public Officers Trade Union Federation have decided to withdraw from the process of granting relief payments, saying that they have been subjected to severe injustice and unfairness by members of the public.
ග්‍රාමීල්දාරින් 14,000ට සංවල්දාරින් 14,000ට කුරුපසිල 14,000ට එක එනුම් කට්ටලයක් ආරක්ෂක කට්ටලයක් අපිට රජයෙන් ඔක කිසිම දීලා නැහැ. එතකොට අපිට දැන් කියනවා නැවත වතාවක් මේ 5,000 බෙදන්න ගමට යන්නලු. අපේ නිල්ලන්න මේල මතුවලා තියෙන ජීවිත තර්ජන, දේශපාලන තර්ජන, මැර තර්ජන ඒවට විරුද්ධව නීතිමය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගන්න නියෝජ්‍ය පොලිසිවරයෙක් පත් කරන්න මේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්න රජයෙන්. අපිට නිශ්චිත තීරණයක් ලබා දෙන තුරු රුපියල් 5,000 ජීවනෝපාය අහිමි නිලධාරීන්ට ගෙවන මිනිසුන්ට ගෙවන රාජකාරියෙන් අපි ඉවත් වෙන මේ අවස්ථාවේ සිට.
Meanwhile, postal services resumed normal operations in most districts, including Colombo. However, farmers in Matale were faced with hardships today due to a severe fertilizer shortage being experienced by many of the area's fertilizer traders. Meanwhile, special task force officers swooped down on a fertilizer trader in Damulla following reports of fertilizer being retailed at exorbitant prices. During the raid on the shop in Galkiria Gama, officers discovered 360 packets of weedicide well past their use-by dates. In the meantime, with the Vesak week beginning on the 8th of this month, the chief prelates of the 3 main Buddhist sects have requested followers to adhere to health and safety regulations and avoid organizing events such as public Vesak pandals, alms-giving ceremonies and any other religious activities that could draw large crowds together. Instead, the prelates urged the public to engage in religious observances at home.
Now, the Criminal Investigation Department has uncovered yet another location used to provide weapons training by the Easter Sunday attackers, this time that of a training centre run under the guise of a non-governmental organisation located in the area of Kalpitia. The trustee of the NGO, a 45-year-old man from Kalpitia, has been taken into custody along with a cache of documents found at the training centre in the area.
Criminal Investigation Department officers have arrested a trustee of an organisation in Kalpitia after it was found that Easter Sunday attackers Zahran Hashim and 2 other attackers had conducted lectures at the premises of the organisation. The 2 other attackers were revealed to be Mohammad Inshaf Ahmad and Mohammad Ilham Ahmad, the sons of spice trader Mohammad Ibrahim. Investigations have revealed that the suspect ran a training center where he engaged Easter Sunday bombers Zahra and Hashim and the Ibrahim siblings to preach extremist ideology to the organization's members. Police spokesman SP Jalia Senaratha stated that investigations have revealed that the center located at Azhar Nagar in the area of Mundalama had also been used to provide weapons training to select members of the organization. The center had been run under the guise of a non-governmental organization, with the arrested suspect registered as its trustee. Subsequently, the Criminal Investigation Department had escorted the suspect, a 45-year-old man from 4th Cross Street in Kalpitia, to the organization's center in Mundalama in Mandurankulia, where a search was conducted on the premises. During the search, CID sleuth seized a large number of documents. The suspect was detained by the CID under provisions of the Prevention of Terrorism Act, while police have sealed off the center and placed it under armed guard. Meanwhile, 216 members of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka have written to its president Kalinga Indathissa, stating that the Bar Association of Sri Lanka should not interfere in the arrest of lawyer Hijaz Hezbollah in connection with the Easter Sunday attack. The letter also alleges that the 158 lawyers who had previously written to the president of the Bar Association calling for intervention to ensure the rights of the arrested lawyer were acting on behalf of a political agenda. The letter noted to the BASL president that among the signatories of the letter were Muslim lawyers, lawyers working alongside human rights NGOs, and others working with opposition groups. The letter alleges that the BASL should avoid entanglement in the issue, since Hezbollah's arrest was not made in relation to his professional duties, and any involvement by the association could damage its honor and tarnish its name.
We will see you shortly after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, the Attorney General, Dapula de Oliveira, has informed the Election Commission Chairman to follow the procedure established by law for the conduct of parliamentary elections 2020. The Election Commission yesterday sought the advice of the Attorney General pertaining to the legality of nominations accepted across 3 particular days in March. In his response, the AG also states that it is observed that nominations have already been accepted by the Election Commission in respect of the parliamentary election.
The nominations for the general election was called from 12th to 19th of March after President Gotabaya Rajapaksa dissolved the parliament on the 2nd of March. With the spread of COVID-19 in the island, the Minister of Public Administration, Home Affairs, Provincial Councils and Local Government declared the 17th, 18th and 19th of March as special public holidays. The declaration was made via a special Gazette notification on the 17th of March. Despite the 3 days being declared public holidays, the process of nomination submission was worked off as usual. Although that was the case, the legality of the nominations accepted during the dates in question had been discussed during the meeting held recently between the Election Commission and representatives of political parties. As a result, the Election Commission yesterday took measures to seek the advice of the Attorney General on the matter. In response, the Attorney General issued a letter to the Chairman of the Election Commission. The AG states, quote, "It is observed that nominations have been already accepted by you in respect of the parliamentary elections 2020. In this context, it is further observed that you have also taken consequential steps for the conduct of such elections," unquote. Therefore, the Attorney General says that the Election Commission Chairman is required to follow the procedure established by the law for the conduct of parliamentary elections 2020.
Now, in face of accusations made by the opposition of irregularities in using foreign funds, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today clarified that the country has not yet received such foreign funds to aid the COVID-19 response mission. The Prime Minister made this comment during a meeting with former parliamentarians at Temple Trees this morning. The meeting was attended by 16 parties, including the Tamil National Alliance, but the JVP, the Samagi Jana Balawega and the United National Party steered clear from participating. Even though the UNP initially planned to attend the meeting, their change of heart came following the decisions of the JVP and the Samagi Jana Balawega to boycott the meeting.
රජයට විදේශ රටවලින් ආධාර ලැබිලා තියෙන බවත් මෙම ආධාර හරියාකාරව භාවිතා කරන්නේ නැති බවත් විපක්ෂයේ චෝදනා කරනවා. ඒ නිසා හිටපු පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් හැටියට මම ඔබතුමා මුදල් අමාත්‍යවරයා හැටියට ඔබතුමාගෙන් දැනගන්න කැමතියි. මේ වෙනකොට කොපමණ මුදලක් අද වෙනකොට විදේශ රටවලින් මුදල් අපට ලැබිලා තියෙනවද?
මේ මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයේ ලේකම්තුමා ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නවා. මම එතුමාටම කියනවා දැන් මේකටම උත්තරයක් දෙන්න කියලා. මොකද එතුමාම කිව්වොත් හොඳයි මේක.
විවිධ බහු සම්බන්ධතා තියෙන ආයතනවලිනුත් බයිලටරල් ඩෝන ඒජන්සීස් වලිනුත් අපි ඉල්ලීමක් කළා තිබ්බා. එකක් තමයි මේ මැයි මාසේ ඉඳන් දෙසැම්බර් මාසේ දක්වා අපිට ණය සේවාකරණයට ඇමරිකානු බිලියන 3.2ක් අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. ඒ හින්දා අපිට පුළුවන් නම් යම්කිසි කාල සීමාවක් ණය කපා හැරීමක් නෙමෙයි ණය ඩිෆර්මන්ට් එකකට යන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා බලන්න කියලා. මොකද අද වෙනකොට රටට ඩොලර් වශයෙන් එන ඉන්ෆ්ලෝස් ගත්තොත් එහෙම තනිකරම හිඳිලා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඩ්‍රයිඩ් අප්. වර්ල්ඩ් බැංක් එක මේ වෙනකොට ක්‍රයිසිස් රෙස්පොන්ස් කියලා ඒ ස්කීම් එකේ යටතේ අපිට එකඟ වෙලා තියෙනවා ඇමරිකානු ඩොලර් මිලියන 127ක් ලබා දෙන්න. එතකොට ඒ 127 තාම අපිට ලැබිලා නැහැ.
ඒ කියන්නේ කොහොමවත් සල්ලි හම්බ වෙලා නැහැ. කොටිම.
வெளி மாவட்டத்தைச் சேர்ந்தவர்கள் கொழும்பு உட்பட்ட பகுதிகளில் இருப்பதனால் அவர்களை உரிய மாவட்டத்திற்கு அனுப்பி வைக்க வேண்டும் என்று அது நிச்சயமாக செய்யப்பட வேண்டியது. காரணம் என்னவென்றால் பெற்றோர்கள் கூலி தொழில்களுக்காக வெளி மாவட்டத்திற்கு வந்து விட்டார்கள். பிள்ளைகள் மட்டக்களப்பு மாவட்டத்தில் சிறுவர் துஷ்பிரயோகம் நடைபெற்றிருக்கிறது. பிள்ளைகளுக்கு பெற்றோர்கள் வெளி மாவட்டத்தில் இருந்தார்கள்.
ඒ කරපු හොඳ යෝජනා ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නත් ඒ අවශ්‍ය වැඩපිළිවෙල දියත් කරන්නත් කටයුතු කරනවා. මම හිතන්නේ අද මේ රැස්වීමට පැමිණීම ගැන මම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම තියෙන්නේ සම්බන්ධ මහත්මයා ඇතුළු ඒ කණ්ඩායමට විශේෂයෙන්ම මම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙන්න ඕන. ඔවුන් තමන්ගේ වගකීම ප්‍රදේශීය ජනතාවගේ වගකීම ඉෂ්ට කරන්නට ඔවුන්ගේ අදහස් ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නට මේ පැමිණීම පිළිබඳව.
Leader of the Tamil National Alliance R. Sambandhan meanwhile presented a set of proposals to the Prime Minister during the meeting. Following the meeting, attendees of the meeting expressed views to media.
කොරෝනා වලින් ජනතාවට එන ගැහුණත් කමන්නේ තමන්ගේ දේශපාලන අභිමතාර්ථය යථාර්ථය බවට පත් කරගන්න ඕමනාවෙන් කටයුතු කරන අය ඇවිල්ලා හිටියේ නැහැ. ඒ පිළිබඳව අපි කනගාටු වෙනවා.
විශේෂයෙන් TN එක ඇවිල්ලා තමන්ගේ ප්‍රදේශවල ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන් තමන්ගේ ප්‍රශ්න ඉදිරිපත් කළා. ඒ නිසා විශේෂයෙන් අදාපු සියලුම දෙනා ඒකමතිකව පිළිගත්තු එක දෙයක් තමයි අතිකරු ජනාධිපතිතුමාත් අගමැතිතුමාත් කොවිඩ් වසංගතය පාලනය කිරීම සඳහා විශාල වැඩසටහනක් අරගෙන තියෙනවා. ඒ සඳහා ප්‍රශංසා මුඛයෙන් කතා කරපු එක තමයි අද තිබ්බේ.
දැන් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට එන්න අවස්ථාවක් ඉල්ලුවේ කොවිඩ් වසංගතය පිළිබඳ ඒගොල්ලන්ට අදහස් තියෙනවා. මූල්‍යමය ප්‍රශ්න පිළිබඳ අදහස් තියෙනවා. ආණ්ඩුවට ආධාර හම්බුණාද කියන ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. අද මෙතෙන්දී මේ ප්‍රශ්න ඔක්කොම අහන්න තිබුණා. ඒගොල්ලන් මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව රැස් කිරීමේ එකම බලාපොරොත්තුව තිබුණේ මේක අවුල් සහගත තත්ත්වයට පත් කරන්න.
Now, the first flight repatriating stranded Sri Lankan students from the UK arrived in the island today with 208 students on board. With repatriation flights continuing to ferry stranded Sri Lankan students from various countries, Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva commented on the use of 5-star hotels as quarantine centres, saying that the offer of hotels for such purposes is a great help to the Tri-Forces, with military personnel currently ordered to quarantine at their bases as a precaution. He added that any costs charged are being done so by the hotels at heavily subsidised rates, and that such a system was introduced based on the willingness of arrivals. National carrier Sri Lankan Airlines has prepared 3 charter flights to repatriate Sri Lankan students stranded in the UK who wish to return to the country. As such, the first batch of Sri Lankan students in UK were repatriated today. Sri Lankan Airlines charter flight UL504 with 208 Sri Lankan students on board landed at the Bandaranaike International Airport early this morning. The returning students were subjected to a sterilisation process upon arrival. Afterwards, they were sent to 2 quarantine facilities. One group was sent to the Jetwing Blue Hotel in Negombo, while the other was sent to Citrus Vaskadua.
පිටරටවල ඉන්න අයවලුන් කිව්වා අපිට සල්ලි ගෙවලා හරි ඉන්න අවස්ථාව දෙන්න හෝටල් වල හරි එහෙම ලබා දෙන්න කියලා. ඒ අය කිරීම සම්පූර්ණයෙන් කරුණු ලබන්නේ ඔවුන් සාමාන්‍ය අය කරන ප්‍රමාණයෙන් 5න් එකක් වගේ නැත්නම් 4න් එකක් වගේ මුදලකට තමයි මේක ලබා දෙන්නේ. මම හිතන්නේ ඔවුන් මේ දෙන ප්‍රමාණයට කවදාකවත් ලංකාවේ වෙනි කාමරයක් ලබා ගන්න හැකියාව ලැබෙයි කියලා. ඉතින් මේක ඇත්තටම අපිටත් දෙන සහයෝගයක් හැටියට අපි දකින්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. මොකද ඔබ දන්නවා ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදා කඳවුරු වල තමයි අපි මේ සියලුම අයවලුන් රැඳවා ගත්තේ. නමුත් ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදාව මේ අවස්ථාවේ කැඳවලා තියෙනවා කඳුරු වලට. එසේ කැඳවලා ඉද්දි තවදුරටත් නිරෝධායන කළ යුතුයි. ඒ අනුව තමයි මේ තත්ත්වය ඇති වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
Meanwhile, another flight to bring back a batch of Sri Lankan students in the UK left BIA this morning, while a similar flight is in the offing to repatriate Sri Lankan students stranded in Australia as well. In the meantime, 40 Pakistan nationals in Sri Lanka for educational purposes were sent back to Karachi on board Sri Lankan Airlines flight UL 1185 at 7 this morning. With the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, Sri Lankans across the globe have been seeking a return to the country. Among them are a group of countrymen stranded on a ship docked at a harbour in the Italian city of Genoa. Meanwhile, a group of Sri Lankans in the Maldives too have called on the government to ensure their return home. In a separate development, 129 people from Beruwala who had undergone quarantine at the Punani facility left for their homes today. They were taken to the quarantine facility on the 2nd of April.
මේ කාලේ නෝම්බි තල්ලන්නේ නැතුව ලොකු කැපකිරීමක් ඕගොල්ලෝ කරේ. හැබැයි ඕගොල්ලෝ ලොකු කැපකිරීමක් ඉදිරියටත් කරන්න ඕන. අද දින සිට නැවත වර දින 14ක් ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ නිවස තුල නිරෝධායනය කරනවා. ඊළඟට කිසිම පිටස්තර පුද්ගලයෙක් මේ ප්‍රදේශයට ගෙන්න ගන්න එපා. දැන් මේ ප්‍රදේශ ආරක්ෂිතයි.
Now, AdaDerana continued its program in partnership with Dialogue to provide relief to people affected due to the ongoing curfew imposed to curb the spread of COVID-19. So far, AdaDerana, along with Dialogue, has distributed nearly 50,500 parcels of dry rations to temples, churches, covils, mosques, as well as orphanages and elderly homes. In the meantime, AdaDerana, along with the Legions Hospital in Ragama, donated water bottles and filters to Sri Lanka Navy, who man the COVID-19 front line. We will see you once more shortly after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, dealers say that Sri Lanka's rupee strengthened to 188 rupees and 25 cents to 188 rupees and 75 cents to the greenback in 1 week forwards, helped by some bank and exporters selling. The rupee closed around 190 rupees and 50 cents to 191 rupees in 1 week forward market on Thursday, with Friday being a market holiday. Last Friday, excess liquidity in money markets dropped to 137 billion rupees from 164 billion rupees, or about 13% of the monetary base, with all banks choked to the gills with excess liquidity. The central bank is targeting a call money rate at 6.45%. Now, business magazine LMD, in its Business Confidence Index report for the past 12 months, projects a gloomy outlook for the corporate sector, saying that little respite is available in the face of COVID-19. The report adds that in response to additional questions posed during its research to assess the depth of the coronavirus impact on businesses, almost 9 out of 10 respondents acknowledge that COVID-19 has had a high negative impact on their businesses. Furthermore, the majority, 41% of those consulted, predict a 6 to 12-month recovery period for their businesses from the negative impact of the coronavirus outbreak. The Business Confidence Index plummeted by a massive 52 basis points to 93 in the month of April, but remains above the 12-month low of 62 recorded in May 2019 following the Easter Sunday bombings. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.